Cura, in Roman thought, was the personification of care, concern, and creation. Though not as widely worshipped as other deities, she played an important role in shaping the way Romans understood human life, responsibility, and the meaning of existence. Unlike gods who ruled over war, love, or the elements, Cura was tied to something far more universal: the act of nurturing, worrying, and giving form to what one values. The most well-known myth of Cura comes from a later Roman philosophical tradition. According to the story, Cura was walking along a riverbank when she picked up a handful of clay. She carefully shaped it into the form of a human, admiring her creation. At that moment, Jupiter arrived and breathed life into the figure, making it a living being. However, a dispute arose. Cura argued that since she had molded the body, she should have control over it, while Jupiter claimed that since he had given it life, it belonged to him. Tellus, the goddess of the earth, also stepped in, saying that because the body was made from her material, it should return to her upon death. To resolve the conflict, Saturn, the god of time, ruled that while the human lived, Cura would have dominion over it, but after death, Jupiter would claim the soul while the body would return to the earth. This myth reveals a profound insight about human existence. From birth to death, every person is shaped by care, concern, and responsibility. Cura represents the reality that life is defined not just by existence, but by what one chooses to care for and nurture. It is through attachment, duty, and devotion that people give meaning to their lives. In Roman philosophy, particularly in Stoicism and later traditions, Cura's presence could be seen in the way Romans thought about duty and responsibility. To be a good citizen, a good parent, or a good leader required a sense of care for others and for the world. This idea extends beyond just personal relationships. It applies to one's work, ambitions, and even the way societies function. The things people worry about, invest in, and work toward ultimately shape who they are. Cura also teaches that care is not just a burden but a creative force. Just as she molded the first human, people mold their own lives through their choices and the things they dedicate themselves to. Whether it is raising a child, building a city, or striving for knowledge, everything meaningful in life comes from the act of caring. At the same time, Cura's story acknowledges that with care comes struggle. Worry, responsibility, and even grief are part of what it means to be human. But these struggles are not signs of weakness. They are proof of deep connection, showing that what one cares for has value. Even today, Cura's message remains powerful. People are often defined not by what they have, but by what they care about, whether it is their family, their work, their art, or their ideals. The burdens of responsibility can be heavy, but they are also what give life purpose. In a world that often emphasizes success and achievement, Cura reminds us that true fulfillment comes from what we nurture, protect, and shape with our own hands. Cura's story is ultimately about creation, responsibility, and love. She reminds us that to care is to shape the world, and in doing so, we shape ourselves.